Tonight on Bayou Time, busy weekend and busy today in news. A candlelight vigil held for the young man who was killed last week in Thibodaux. A teen is raped in a restaurant, also in Thibodaux. Houma police looking for the alleged shooter at the corner of Morgan and Main. And Thibodaux police make an arrest in a shooting in Thibodaux on St. Charles Street. It's all next on Bayou Time.
Deep in the heart of the bayou, we are gathered here tonight. Now it's time for action, cause our lives are on the line. Tonight we'll do our very best to break through all the bureaucratic mess. The time has come tonight, cause it's Bayou time. Show 'em what Louisiana's all about.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Bayou Time. I'm Martin Falls. I'd like to wish Miss Evelyn Spearman get well soon. She's home now from Terrebonne General Medical Center. I know she watches each and every night. We love you, Miss Evelyn. Thanks for watching, and get better soon. All right, what I want to do, we have a lot to talk about tonight. We're going to open up with our news package, but certainly the phone lines are going to be open tonight because just with all the news that has been transpiring, especially out of the city of Thibodaux. Thibodaux just doesn't deserve it. Doesn't deserve all of this negativity that's been transpiring. But out of the negative news, a positive spirit has evolved. A candlelight vigil for Jori Lirette was held this weekend. Hundreds of people gathered for that, and certainly a positive spirit was cast upon that city. However, some other things happened in Thibodaux this weekend, and one we'll talk about tonight, where a 12-year-old juvenile was raped in a restaurant bathroom in Thibodaux, and the man is under arrest, and we'll have more in that. There was also a shooting in Houma and another shooting in Thibodaux. So a lot of negative news has been taking place. However, we're going to open up the phone lines tonight after the news. We're going to talk about a lot of things. But, you know, maybe let's try to pull the city together and try to keep that positive spirit coming, because that's the only way we as a community will be able to get past this. Some horrific events when you talk about a young man being killed and another young man being raped by an adult. It's really pitiful news, but, you know, it's sort of the sign of the times. Things seem to be getting a little worse. What do you think about that? But first, let's take a look at our local news.
Sunday night, hundreds of residents from around the Bayou region turned out to remember and celebrate the life of Jori Lirette, who was brutally murdered last Sunday at his home in Thibodaux by his father.
We're out here tonight at Pelche Park. It's a candlelight vigil in honor of Jori Lirette, who tragically lost his life 1 week ago. This was a grassroots effort. It wasn't sponsored by any city organization or organized group. Like I said, it's a grassroots effort. It's just some very concerned citizens within the city of Thibodaux that just felt so compelled over the tragedy that they wanted to get together and try to develop a mechanism for healing and bringing the community together, try to address some of the issues, some of the anger, some of the grief, some of the questions of how this could happen and why it could happen.
Family and friends spoke about Jori and his life.
Life is something that should never be taken for granted. That should cherish every moment of it. He didn't say or do much, but once he had your attention, that was it. He would laugh, and you would just have to laugh back. You couldn't help it. Jori was a very lovable child. He loved everyone, no matter what. He laughed and laughed and laughed. He thought that of no one. I'll never forget the day that he came home from New Orleans. Everyone came to the house and stayed for hours on end. Just to hold him was a blessing.
Jessalyn Lirette, Jori's mother, read a letter to Jori.
Thank you so much. I love my child with everything that I could. I want to thank my mom and my dad for giving me life so I can give it to him, my family, my friends, and all of Thibodaux. Thank y'all very much. I was going to speak from the heart, but I did write something down from the heart because right now I really don't see this is all beautiful. Thank you very much. To my dearest son, music will never be the same anymore. My life will never be the same. But you're an angel now. And all these things may seem that way now, but they will eventually go back to normal. When I come to terms as to what happened to you, your smile will be the image that will be in everyone's soul, their mind, and their thoughts. You have brought this village together. And the reason why I say village, because Thibodaux is a village. It takes a village to raise a child.
In more news from Thibodaux, Thibodaux police say a boy was allegedly raped in the bathroom of a local restaurant in Thibodaux.
On Friday, the 19th, around 7:30 at night, Thibodaux Police Department received a call from a city resident that a 12-year-old male had been raped in the bathroom at the Burger King. Upon police officers arriving at the Burger King, at the residence, they made contact with the complainant and the 12-year-old male, who advised that he stopped in the Burger King restaurant to use the bathroom, had failed to lock the stall, and a white male approached him, and from that point, it had unconsensual sex with the juvenile. The juvenile advised, the 12-year-old advised he was able to get out of the stall, and that's where he ran to the resident's house. And based on a description that was given by the 12-year-old, our investigators became involved immediately. Were able to identify the suspect as Terry Sanchez, a white male, date of birth March 3rd, 1959, 51 years of age, as a potential suspect. Our detectives approached Terry Sanchez, and upon making contact, Sanchez advised that he had engaged in sex with the 12-year-old at the inside the restaurant. At that time, a warrant was secured for aggravated rape, and he was issued a bond for $250,000. He was transported to Lafourche Parish Detention Center, where he remains at today.
All right, there you have it, a look at the news and what we're going to do. We're going to take a break, but when we come back, first of all, I want to talk about, it baffles me. In our Monday morning meeting here at HTV, we were talking about this aggravated rape which took place in a restaurant in Thibodaux. I mean, a 12-year-old male was in the bathroom. A 51-year-old male goes in, this guy right here, and rapes, aggravated rapes. And everything's alleged until it goes to trial. But still, I mean, obviously, for them to make an arrest, they have, and I'll read you the press release when we come back. But in a Burger King, okay, and this is, now I want to stress that this is no reflection on Burger King or the store. It's in the press release and everybody knows it, so I'm going to say the restaurant, otherwise I wouldn't, but it's in the police press release. But what is happening with our society that this kind of stuff can take place? It's appalling, it's baffling. We were just talking about a horrific crime last week where the vigil was this weekend and the funeral, the services are taking place today. Then there's a shooting in Thibodaux, and the homeless had its share of crime also. And it's no reflection on the police departments or the DAs it's just a sign of the times. So that's what the discussion is going to be tonight. 879-1231. What's going wrong? What are we missing here? What is not being done? And I also want to preface our discussion tonight on the DA. I talked to Cam Morvant last week, and he has not made a decision based late last week on the death penalty simply because he hadn't had no papers on his desk yet. Any papers, let me use the right English. But so let the process take place. Let all of the facts get on the desk. Let people make decisions. Remember, emotions are very high. And this is a horrific crime which breeds emotion. So it's going to take some time for everything to fall into place. And that will happen, trust me. It will happen. We'll take a break. When we come back, I'm going to tell you a little bit more about the rape incident, the aggravated rape incident, and then we'll roll in some B-roll on the vigil of the young man who was murdered, and then we'll have some scenes later in the program from the service, With All Respect. We'll be right back.